Thank you. Again, my name's Kiernan McManus. I really appreciate the work that Laura and Tracy, although I don't see Tracy yet,
Tracy wasn't able to make it tonight.
have done in organizing this and also organizing the Community Alliance. To introduce myself, I'm a native of Boulder City. I was born here in 1957. My parents had moved here in 1953. My dad was a teacher at the high school for about 15 years. I went through high school here, attended the University of Nevada at Las Vegas for 2 years, and then transferred to my dad's alma mater, the University of New Hampshire, and graduated with a bachelor's in political science from there. Since then, I've also earned associate degrees in Microsoft and Cisco technologies. And my career was primarily in the IT field. I worked for a large insurance company and a large oil company, again in their IT departments, primarily in networking among computers and locations around the world. My ties to the community. My mother had continued to live here as I moved away. I know that happens to a lot of people that grow up here. Some find employment in Las Vegas and some find it around the world. I know I have classmates that are slowly trickling back into Boulder City, but have lived, as I said, around the world. This is a great community to grow up in. We are somewhat limited in our employment challenges here, but as Las Vegas has grown, the opportunities are available there. As I said, my mother had continued to live here. I was back visiting every month or two, lived most of the time in Phoenix, and I've now been back here in Boulder City for about 11 years. To get to the some of the things that I've been doing or trying to do here in Boulder City since I moved back, I really appreciated growing up in this community. I think it's a great place. I know I was like most teenagers that as you look around, you're always saying how there was nothing to do. There are some great things to do in this community. I've been on the Preservation Committee now for about a year. I'm currently the vice chair of that. My goal on that committee has been to try and improve our historic preservation code. I think that the existing code that we have certainly needs to be looked at. One of the things that motivated me to become a member of that committee was the loss of our old hospital. That was a significant building in this town, and they certainly don't make those like they do anymore. So those types of things we need to be protective of, and I'll get to that a little bit later in answering the questions. The first question that was asked of us is, do you think the master plan should be updated? I certainly believe it should. It was formulated in 2003. On the city website, it says it was updated in 2015, but those were very minor changes that were made to it. So we are working right now with a master plan that is very old. Those plans normally should be looked at every 5 years and try and look out 20 years into the future. So we're about halfway through the period of time that they're usually available, and we have not really adhered to that in the past. With the changes that we're going to see in town with the bypass, I think that makes it even more important that we really take a hard look at our master plan. We're going to see much less traffic at the intersection there at Buchanan and the highway. We're going to see some of the businesses out there on the highway probably suffer from the loss of traffic. I know that some of the uptown businesses here are concerned not so much of the loss of traffic, but in some of the plans that are being made to create new businesses away from our central business district. I think that by doing that, we run the risk of doing more damage to our business district than we do of trying to get the people who already are coming here to come here more often. And that is people who live in Las Vegas, There's also a significant international visitor that come to Boulder City because of Hoover Dam. There's been a lot of talk about the loss of tourism here in town. The people that do come here for Lake Mead and Hoover Dam primarily. I know there's been talk about how once the bypass goes through, our town is going to dry up like so many others have when interstates took traffic away from towns. I think that we need to keep in mind that that's not necessarily the case. Because we have one of the engineering wonders of the world here, we do have attractions that are going to bring people here, whether they come via I-11 or the existing highway. If the master plan is to be looked at, I think that it needs to be done in a way where we consider the loss of traffic or the rerouting of traffic, and that we now have opportunities we didn't have before. The highway going from Buchanan on out to Veterans Parkway, there are possibilities there. I know the city has already looked at redesigning that stretch of roadway. I think there are some real opportunities there that could be had by businesses, even though some of those existing businesses are probably going to suffer. Moving on to the next question. Do you think the growth ordinance as it currently stands is right for the community as a whole? I graduated high school in 1975. The homes that are below Adams Boulevard, often referred to as the girl streets, those were being built in the late 70s. And those are the houses, or that development is really what started the controlled growth ordinance here in Boulder City. People were concerned about the town growing too quickly, so that became law in this town. Several years later, because sales of land continued to occur, the restriction requiring a vote of the people for the sale of more than 1 acre went into place. I think this community has been well served by that ordinance, and I do support continuing with that. We have on the books right now that have already been approved. There will be 65 new homes that have been approved at the mobile home park out on the highway. There are up to, I believe it's 240 homes that have been approved for the land sale around the golf course. So we're looking at significant growth here in Boulder City in the next couple of years with those two projects. And I think it's important that we pay attention to how quickly we are going to grow. There are plans to grow much more quickly than that have been advertised around town. I think we need to take the time and look at how quickly we do want to grow and what that will do to the character of our town. Part of that question is, will you seek changes or keep it the same and protect it? I would keep it the same. We need to wait and see what's going to happen with this bypass before making extreme changes in this town. Next question is, how do you plan to hear the concerns of the community? One is groups like this. I think it's very important to have groups like this. We haven't had the type of organizations here in Boulder City that were existing when I was growing up. I think this is a great thing. I also think that doing things like Councilman on the Corner, up at the credit union, or at other places here in town, where people will know when you're going to be there, they can come and speak with you. I would also place an ad once a quarter in the BC Review, asking people to contact me and let them know how they could contact me. And by asking the city to put up a web page where each candidate or each council person could have an input from the community on issues that are most important to them. I touched already a little bit on the historic district. That is a small part of our town. It's the original part of our town. Property values in that area are very high, and the reason they're very high is because that area has been preserved. I think we need to continue that. I think we need to be able to help those people understand how they can preserve their homes. And that is what really contributes a great deal also to our uptown business district by having that area continue as it is. I'm getting the red flag here, so I will go ahead and wrap up very quickly. One of the last questions is, what do you think Boulder City will look like in the next 5 to 10 years? I hope it looks substantially like it does, because this really is a great place to live.